I lived a life of spark and charm, false, of course, and manufactured wit and splendor. I lived my life on my toes, on a precipice poised to fall. And fall I did. But let me begin at the beginning. My mother was a whore. Not a tawaif, as she aspired to be, but a whore. Men visited my mother's body as though it was a city they were supposed to conquer. I don't know what circumstances led her to this profession, and she never volunteered the information. She named me Paheli because she said I was a mystery. Whether I was a result of a yearning or a moment of weakness, she wouldn't say, and over time, I learned not to ask. I know nothing of my father. No, that is not quite true. My eyes are the blue of Afghani skies, like his must be. My skin is a deep brown like the earth after its first sip of rain. My mother's skin is the color of day-old dough. We lived in the city of Nawabs in India, now Lucknow. Back then it was known as Awadh. It wasn't just the city of Nawabs, however. It was also the city of Tawaifs. What my mother wasn't, but what she wanted to be so desperately. I remember the smells of the kota. The first floor was rank with the smell of cheap perfume the first floor whores applied liberally. The aroma of food emanating from the kitchens vied with the stench of the refuse that waited for attention right outside the back doors. Below all this was another scent, one that I now associate with despair. The second, third, and fourth floors of the kota were the domain of the tawaifs. The air in those rooms was infused with fragrances created exclusively for them. What is a tawaif, if not a whore? A tawaif, sisters, is a courtesan. She is well versed in the arts of conversation and seduction. She is schooled in music and dance, particularly the mudra. She sings ghazals and plays instruments. Her intellect is formidable, and her beauty so divine that the moneyed Nawabs paid fortunes to partake of it. Not for her a dingy dark room in a row of dingy dark rooms on the first floor at the back of the kota. She has a scented boudoir, decorated in silk and satin. Men seek pleasure from her. They do not simply satiate their lusts. Grace, elegance, and choice. A tawaif has them all. I grew up learning to keep my eyes cast down, lest I be the recipient of unsavory notice from my mother's clients. I never left the kota. I wasn't allowed to. Girl children are tender morsels to those whose hunting grounds are the city's pavements. There were other children in the kota, some were even my friends, but our first loyalty was to our mothers, and our mothers were often embroiled in complicated feuds with each other. Though the kota was always full of people, I sometimes went days without speaking to a single person. My mother's face had been disfigured by a childhood illness, which made her dream of being a tawaif precisely that, a dream. Still, the sisterhood in the kota was not exclusive, and the women would have enfolded her within its arms had my mother been a nicer person. She wasn't, though. She wasn't nice at all. So she was reviled around the kota, and the only reason the malkin, the owner of the kota, tolerated my mother was because she liked me. I grew up on scraps of attention thrown my way by the various whores on the first floor. The second, third, and fourth levels of the kota were forbidden to us children unless we were sent on errands. My mother mostly kept me in that windowless room that served as home, apart from the time she worked. Those hours, from 5 in the afternoon to 2 in the morning, I was left to my own devices. When I was young, my mother paid a kitchen maid to take care of me, but after I turned 5, I was deemed old enough to look after myself. What do I tell you of the evenings at the kota, sisters? I used to slip under a table set on the side in the central courtyard and peek out from behind the overhanging tablecloth at the spectacles that unfolded there every evening. The evening gatherings, the mehfils, were filled with color. Each tawaif was dressed in bejeweled finery and glowing with life and laughter.